You guys will have to thank Shizzy for that new intro. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, and I will disappoint my mother in various ways. So there you go. Thank you, everyone, for dealing with the slight delay. It is the flu, so I will be going around and lysoling my entire house and probably Purelling family members. But middle daughter has her favorite Gatorade and everything else. I figured for today we would start out with, have you ever had those moments where you just need to see someone else sucking out loud at life to get you through the day? Well, this is kind of that, and it's extremely funny. I always wanted to be a mermaid. I am not going to lie to you. I figured I would be a mermaid when I grew up, but that would probably be my fate, not gonna lie. I'd be eaten by a giant grouper. That's just what would happen. And she's being all graceful and all that other fun stuff, and then the fish is like, "Ta-da!" Anywho, I thought that was hilarious. No, I don't wanna be with you anymore. Welcome, Wolfram, Alice G, JKD Buck, Slinky, and 80s Music Man. Welcome, welcome. So, our first story today is well, Dalton keeps going crazy. And if the live stream is up, I will try to do a stream of this today or tomorrow, depending on how much time I do. And this is a little tease. I am going to be interviewing Cara Winnicky about the Delphi case today. So, fingers crossed, I can be a functional adult. It's iffy. But I am having a better day than Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who jumped into a chaotic brawl with angry activists and her boyfriend after she was called a B word during a tense board meeting. Well, she'll probably be called a felon eventually. So, I mean, of all the words, and you didn't get called a cahoot. So really, I mean, what are we arguing about? Wild video. Let's see if I can play this without getting copyright. Okay, no, I don't. Here we go. So, yeah, there was chaos in Dalton as per, well, unfortunately usual. Fists started swinging soon after Jedediah Brown called Henyard a half-assed mayor at the local Illinois meeting, accusing her of sleeping her way to the top. Tell us how you really feel, sir. You gone, bitch, the fuming activist called the mayor of Dalton Village. Again, she squandered a bunch of money. She's probably going to be called a felon soon, so the B word's not so terrible if you ask me. Now, as he walked away from the microphone, Brown was quickly charged by Henyard's boyfriend, Kamal Woods, setting off a wild melee. Now, Henyard, who also served as Thornton Town supervisor since 2022, immediately shoved a table aside and sprinted toward the brawl, the footage shows. Tiffany's in there, some shocked onlookers yelled during the all-out brawl. Witnesses say Henyard, who at one point threw herself into the middle of as punches were being thrown, lost a shoe and was thrown to the floor amid the violence. There are unconfirmed reports too that the mayor lost her wig during the fight. Oh hell no. She have that shit glued down because it takes a lot of force to rip off a wig if you actually have it laid down with the super glue gel and everything. So I kind of wish there are pictures of that. Not gonna lie, I am a terrible person, probably going straight to Hades, but I would have liked to see that. Yeah, maybe the wig fell off. And that's probably human hair. Those wigs are like $400, y'all. I know I'm a wigologist, so I'm letting you know. It was one thing when the guys were fighting, but she jumped in it, and I was taken aback. I was floored. Resident Alicia Nicole added in an interview with ABC7. It was not immediately clear if Henyard was trying to break up the fight or join it. Security inside the South suburban Chicago township tried to separate the crowd from jumping on tables and throwing punches and kicks at each other during the fracas. It should never happen. I just couldn't believe it came to that, resident Gerald Williams told an ABC outlet. She jumped in, she hit her head on the table, so I don't know, she might be injured, Williams added of Henyard. It was not immediately clear if Henyard was trying to break up the fight or join it. It also wasn't clear if anyone was injured. Now, no arrests were made, and Brown was carried out by cops, according to the footage. The brawl unfolded following a tense meeting where Henyard's boyfriend, who runs the township's at-risk youth program, alongside a man named William Moore, was at the center of the meeting's agenda Tuesday night. Both men were placed on administrative leave after the board and community questioned the work that they were doing. They also approved an independent investigator or forensic auditor to find out how grant money and township funds were used at the at-risk program and outreach development. The controversial mayor called the actions political retaliation and even threatened a lawsuit. It comes after the self-proclaimed super mayor recently lost the Democratic nomination for Thornton Township supervisor and vowed to fight back. So basically, the Democratic Party of Thornton Township had a caucus, and they elected the people they would want to run for the township, and her name was not on it. I don't know if it was shenanigans or not, but they purposely kind of made it hard for her to get there. At least that's what she alleges. Now, the brawl happened too just days after Henyard was found in contempt of court for allegedly stonewalling liquor licenses for months. The owners of St. Patrick's, a three-story restaurant, claimed that the mayor had repeatedly promised to sign liquor licenses, which were already approved by the village board of trustees, but did not, according to a suit filed in August. She ultimately signed two of the three licenses under the threat of contempt last week after she showed up 30 minutes late to her own court appearance. Henyard's attorney is said to be preparing a statement in the wake of this latest ordeal. The Post reached out to South Holland Police Department and Thornton Township office, but did not hear back. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Lady Tammy and Fun Diane. Yeah, I feel incredibly sad for the regular everyday citizens of Dalton. I can't imagine my town being known as this sort of lolcow kind of town. There are good people that are just working hard, seeing their taxes just frittered away. We don't even know anything and we don't get any answers. So I can imagine that there is a lot of resentment, but there we go. It looks like The Fall of Diddy, the docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs, is giving out a lot of sort of revelations about what went on. Look, I know that. But we're also trying to take over the world with our high fructose corn syrup. So, we have an evil plan too. My poor daughter, I'm like, I love you very much and I want to give you a hug because I know you're not feeling well. But oh my God, I don't want to get sick. The Fall of Diddy, 7 shocking revelations from the docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs. I will have to see where this docuseries is, and I can try to do a breakdown like I did. I know I have Natalia Grace in the pipelines, so that might be something else that I'll break down. The Fall of Diddy, Investigation Discoveries 4-part series centered on the rise and fall of the music mogul and businessman Sean Diddy Combs, has just released its first episode, and there's a lot to unpack. Over the course of 2 days and 4 installments, viewers will see archived footage from Combs' personal and professional life, hear from several people, including former friends, colleagues, and employees, who say they have either experienced or witnessed Combs' alleged abuse. The first 2 episodes, titled Making a Mogul and Empire Under Fire, detail Combs' early beginnings living in a fatherless home. Now, Combs was alleged to have alleged abuse at Howard University, his rise as a young talented artist and repertoire representative, his relationship with Kim Potter and Jennifer Lopez, and more. Now, the first 2 episodes dropped on Monday, January 7th. And the series will end with its second installment Tuesday, January 28th. So, yesterday. Oh, thank you, Lady Tammy. I'm gonna have to see if that's on Hulu, Netflix, or I think we have Peacock. Lord, I don't know what we have. I usually watch YouTube, to be very fair with you. Now, each episode starts with this series contains descriptions of SA, and violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, Combs' legal team's response to the allegations made in the fall of Diddy is Mr. Combs has full confidence in the facts and integrity of the judicial process. In court, he will prevail. That the accusations against Mr. Combs are pure fiction. Okay, if they're pure fiction, okay, say I believe you. Why the ever living hell did you have 4,000, okay, 1,000 baby oil bottles? No one's skin is that dry. I mean, unless you are going to spill it on a tarp and make the world's most crazy and dangerous slip and slide, I am confused. Make it make sense. Why does he have 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Now, the document will be updated with revelations from episode 3, uh, Untouchable, and episode 4, The Fall. But in the meantime, read the allegations made in the first installment below, or read. So, chief allegation number 1. Diddy threatened to murder former Vibe editor in chief Danielle Smith over a magazine cover. One of the first stories that opens the docuseries is an account from former Vibe editor-in-chief Danielle Smith. Smith, who was the first female to lead the magazine, said it was difficult to navigate the music media without having to deal with Combs in some way. In 1997, Smith selected Diddy for the cover of the magazine's December 1997, January 1998 double issue. In the photos, Diddy wore white feathered wings for an angel devil theme. Days ahead of the cover's release, Combs contacted Smith requesting to see the cover to give his own final approval. However, due to the publication's policy, Smith couldn't show Combs the cover and denied his ask. He then asked Smith a second time to see the images, but Smith again denied him. That's when Smith said Combs threatened that he would, quote, see her dead in a trunk, end quote, if she didn't show him. A shocked Smith told Combs to take that remark back or else she would alert her attorney. When he refused, which led Smith to involve her legal counsel, who contacted Combs to let him know that he would be notifying the authorities if Combs did not fax over an apology. Within 90 minutes to 2 hours later, Combs faxed over an apology, but later on, Combs sent 2 tough guys to the Vibe office to attack Smith. The Vibe staff members had to send Smith away in a cab to protect her. Allegation 2, Diddy brutally whipped a female student with a belt while attending Howard University. One of the interviewees in Fall of Diddy documentary series decided to remain visually anonymous while sharing her experience with Combs. Her account takes place at Howard University, where Combs was briefly a student and quickly became popular for his campus parties. In 1988, a woman overheard a female student screaming inside her dorm room. When she looked out her window, she saw Combs, who was wielding a belt, forcibly instructing the student to go downstairs to the basement. Combs first started hitting the wall, then started to hit the female student. The student said, that her friend yelled at Combs to stop hitting her, but he refused. Combs then took the student to a darker, less visible area and stayed there all evening. The female student left behind him shortly after. No one called the cops? I mean, I get that it's a scary situation. I get that, there's a lot of things going through your mind, but you let your friend go into a more isolated, scary, less public area with a man who was, laying hands on her. Does anyone else think that's crazy? And I'm trying not to judge, but she's your friend. You have to know that letting her go with this guy who's hurting her in broad daylight public to a privater place. Okay, never mind. She was in college, maybe she didn't know what to do. Trying to be kind and charitable. Allegation number 3, Diddy orchestrated charity basketball game that led to the deaths of 9 young people. I have never heard this. On December 28th, 1991, Combs put together a celebrity basketball game in New York City College in partnership with Heavy D. Now, despite the event being filled with attendees, Combs's entourage continued to sell tickets at the door. When his team decided ticket sales were done, they closed the doors to the event, leaving several people, including angry ticket holders, who had bought early tickets outside. This led to the crowd forcing themselves through the door of the college and into the gymnasium where the game was being held. In the midst of the stampede, many were trampled over and later passed away. Three teenagers and six young adults tragically lost their lives at the charity game. I had never heard of this, but this is ridiculous. How can you be out of prison and have done that? Or, I don't even know about this. He must have paid people off. But to be fair, I wasn't quite, a Diddy follower. Allegation number 4, Diddy chased a concert promoter through Manhattan for wearing a Death Road's record t-shirt. During the rise of the hip hop's longstanding East Coast West Coast beef or competition, Combs became very aggressive as a West Coast record label executive. Suge Knight and his Death Row Records label started to mark its territory in the rap industry. During the mid-90s, when Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. were at their height, Death Row Records was branching out into the East Coast with its new extension of Death Row Records East. While at a New York club in 1996, concert promoter DeWitt Gilmore took and wore a Death Row Records East t-shirt that was being passed out to people at a club. After he left the club, Gilmore says that Combs and his crew pulled up on him and started calling Gilmore a B word for wearing the shirt. Now, Gilmore tried to de-escalate the situation, telling Combs he didn't want any problems, but Combs did not stop. Now, while Gilmore was in his car, more of Combs's entourage surrounded him and started firing gunshots. Gilmore drove away, but he was followed by Combs's teams, who attempted to ram him off the road. Gilmore said he was chased through Manhattan and eventually drove onto an island on the road. Yeah, he seems stable, real stable. Diddy was in an on and off again relationship with Kim Porter while dating Jennifer Lopez. Welcome, hey Joe. Kim Porter, Combs's on again, off again girlfriend and mother of 4 of his children, was said to have softened Combs up a bit when the two started dating in 1990s. They welcomed their first child in 1998. Interviewees in the series detail how Combs referred to Porter as the one woman he had ever truly loved, though he mistreated her. A year later, in 1999, Combs started dating Lopez, whom he would flaunt around town at events and in the media, but he still had feelings for Porter. But then there is the infidelity. Kim Porter, a woman he described as the love of his life and the mother of his 4 children, witnessed his relationship with Jennifer Lopez as it flooded the media. Now, Porter was also subjected to Combs' alleged DV. Now, former Vibe editor-in-chief Danielle Smith said she witnessed Combs pop up at a club she and Porter were at for a girls' night. He arrived and he berated her publicly and told her that she needed to go home and angrily emptied out her purse in front of Porter's friends. Again, he just seems like a dick. Diddy was sentenced to 1 day of anger management after beating up a music executive, Steve Stoute. Now, during the late 90s, Combs started mingling with Interscope music executive Steve Stoute, who was also the manager for Nas at the time. Now, in 1999, Combs got a record deal alongside Nas in Hate Me Now and subsequently recorded a music video for it. Now, the video ends with Nas and Combs being crucified. That's not blasphemous. However, Combs did not like how he was being depicted and wanted it to change. However, the video ended up being serviced to MTV, which enraged Combs. In response, Combs went to Stoute's office with his entourage and beat Stoute up. Per excerpts from legal documents shown in the series, Combs's crew beat Stoute to the ground with a telephone and pummeled him with a chair. He was left bleeding on the floor. Combs was sentenced to 1 day of anger management. Well, justice system, look at the monster you created. You let this man get away without consequences so many times. He felt invincible. You guys probably looked the other way. He's famous, he's a big time person. You guys kind of let this happen because he did not receive, the normal punishment that a normal person would. He basically felt like he didn't have any punishment, he didn't have any consequences. Number 7, did he let young rapper Shine take the blame for a 1999 club shooting? In the retelling of the infamous shooting that took place in 1999 inside a New York club, Combs's former driver, Wardell Fenderson, said he witnessed seeing a gun in Combs's hand while driving him and Jennifer Lopez to the club. When the stars arrived, investigative journalist Peter Knoll said Combs started to get negative attention from clubgoers, which resulted in name calling, pushing, and shoving inside. Having had enough of the boisterous behavior, the rising rapper Moses Shine Michael Levi Barrow, who had just met Combs and Lopez in the club, grabbed a force multiplier from their waist and started shooting, per shooting victim Natanya Rubin. Now, Combs and Lopez fled the scene with Fenderson as a getaway driver. Combs allegedly threw his force multiplier out the window while trying to evade police. Combs, his security guard, and Lopez were all arrested. While at the precinct, Combs tried to convince Fenderson to take responsibility for the gun, offering him $50,000 in addition to loaning him a $300,000 pinky ring as collateral. Now, famous attorneys Johnny Cochran and Benjamin Braffman defended Combs in his trial, and despite testimonies from Fenderson, Rubin, and Rubin, Combs was acquitted. So, again, he's an idiot. Yes, he is. This terrifies me more than anything has terrified me in my life. You guys, I was this close to going to the chiropractor. I was not feeling great yesterday. And then this story pops up. I will not go to a chiropractor without Mr. Mo. He's kind of like my security blanket, but I don't like going to new doctors without him. And this is an unfortunate case, and I'm sure there are people that know really good chiropractors. I don't know exactly what happened, but let's get into this. A 29-year-old has passed away after going to a chiropractor to treat a crack to her neck during a workout. A young woman who felt a crack in her neck during a gym workout in 2021 died weeks later after going to a chiropractor to treat her neck pain, a recent inquest heard. Now, Joanna Kowalczyk, 29, from Gateshead, a town in Newcastle, England, turned down a procedure at the hospital and instead pursued alternative treatments to help her injury. Now, Kowalczyk is believed to have suffered an arterial dissection, a tear in the lining of an artery, after injuring her neck during a personal training session in the gym in September 2021. She did have an underlying connective tissue disorder that made her more vulnerable to this kind of injury. If you are medically complex, and I'm telling you this from experience, find doctors that understand how medically complex patients are, because this is insane. You need to be real with your doctor with all the things that you have, because this might have been counterindicated. He might have been able to tell her, if you have this, and this, it's dangerous and you probably should go to a hospital. She also regularly suffered from migraines and joint hypermobility issues, all of which were noted in her medical history. However, her chiropractor didn't check her records. Screw you sideways with a cactus, sir. This is your job to check those. I'm a rant. I'm going to rant. Doctors' offices make you fill out 150 reams of paperwork to go in there, and you have to fill them out in fucking triplicate, and then they don't even look at it. They're like, "Okay, what's wrong?" I'm like, I filled out 175 pages for you. I'm sure you can find the answer there." Sorry, it's a rant, but when you have to go to many doctors, it's just like, "Okay, I'm just writing out I mean, at this point, it's kinda like, "Did you read the chart? No? Okay." However, so he didn't even check the records. This is obviously medical neglect, in my opinion, because You are responsible for a patient's life and their health, and you should take that seriously. The woman suffered an acute dissection in the same location after her neck was adjusted, which led to her death. Now, Leanna Benones, an assistant coroner from Gateshead and South Tyneside, ruled that Kalwalczyk had died due to repercussions of chiropractic treatment following a naturally occurring medical event. Last week, she published her findings, calling on the General Chiropractic Council to establish rules encouraging chiropractors to check a patient's medical history before treating them. Okay, that's not a standard? We're just gonna recommend that? That wasn't standard operating procedure? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm glad this is demonetized because I'm confused all the hell. How is that not like, just for, like, funds, if you could read the chart, that would be awesome. How do you function without reading a patient's chart? People have so many comorbidities, indications, things like that. You cannot. Okay, rant over. Now, Kalwasik had originally visited the ER or AE after hearing the crack in her neck. She was able to get a CT scan and was advised that she should undergo a lumbar puncture, a test used to rule out the possibility of a hemorrhage. Instead, she self discharged from the hospital and went to a chiropractor to treat the pain. Now, Kawasik was informed that the chiropractor that she had already seen had been to the hospital and undergone a scan, but he didn't try to obtain any of the medical records or hospital records. Now, Kawasik underwent 4 adjustments and manipulation treatments between September and October, as per reports from the Daily Mail. During a session in October 16th, she underwent a left adjustment to the neck. Now, Kawasik stated that she immediately started to experience symptoms of dizziness and the room spinning. She later developed double vision and tingling in her right hand and foot and got sick. Now, the chiropractor advised her to go to the hospital, but she didn't want to, and she chose to stay at the clinic where she rested a few hours. Later that day, she was eventually treated for paramedics after experiencing speech difficulty, which is often associated with a stroke. They diagnosed her with a migraine after hearing the symptoms of dizziness, and migraines were normal after a chiropractic treatment. The inquest revealed that the medical professional was unaware that stroke symptoms could stop after a short period of time. They said they would have taken her to the hospital that day had she been unable to move unaided. Take this Do not let this man be a chiropractor. Well, look, I would have moved her, but she was breathing. For flip's sake. The following day, Kalwaskik felt gravely unwell and had reduced levels of consciousness, and paramedics were called again. She unfortunately deteriorated in the ambulance and required ventilation and intubation. Hospital scans showed dead brain tissue and a tear in the wall of one of the neck's blood vessels. She passed away 2 days later on October 19th. The coroner, Benyones, said evidence on behalf of the treating chiropractor was that he did not consider it necessary to request GP records. So that's their general practitioner. So that's their primary care doctor, or hospital records before assessment or treatment, despite being informed about the deceased recent hospital attendance, investigation which was recommended, and her discharge against medical advice. Even in an updated consent form I have been provided with, which was designed by the British Chiropractic Association, there is no prompt or question designed for a chiropractor to ask to consider containing medical records before assessment or treatment when this might be appropriate. The only reference to medical records is consent to communicate as deemed necessary for treatment and the report to be sent to the GP after treatment. I am concerned at the consideration to obtain medical records that should always be given before assessment, particularly when recent medical treatment or investigations have been undertaken. Now, I am not quite sure because I am not, an English lawologist. So I don't know if this chiropractor can be sued civilly for, wrongful death or anything like that, but he has shown great neglect, in my personal opinion. Well, I'm glad it was just the flu, but we do need to be careful, you guys. Go get your Lysol and your Purell. The largest tuberculosis outbreak in US history is happening right now. And here's how you can protect yourself according to infectious disease doctors. Now, most of us will have already been immunized to tuberculosis. If you are unsure, I do know local health departments can give you a TB vaccine and a TB test. Since I worked in healthcare, I had to have them every several years. It's easy to think that tuberculosis is an illness from another era, but the United States is actually experiencing the largest tuberculosis outbreak in its history. The outbreak, which is concentrated in Kansas, seems to have been going on since 2021, but a lot of cases have been reported since 2024. Making things even more complicated is that the form of tuberculosis circulating right now appears to be resistant to two common treatment methods for the disease. Unfortunately, officials from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and other government organizations are not allowed to publicly weigh in on the outbreak or any other matters due to communications pause put in place by the new administration. But here is what we do know about the tuberculosis outbreak in Texas or Kansas right now, plus how the infection spreads. There is a tuberculosis outbreak happening in Kansas, according to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. The department has documented 66 active cases of TB since 2024 and 79 latent infections. Active cases mean that someone is contagious and having symptoms. Meanwhile, latent means that someone has tuberculosis but doesn't have symptoms and doesn't spread it to others, explained Thomas Rousseau, medical doctor, a professional and chief of infectious disease at the University of Buffalo in New York. Latent cases can turn into active cases, though, he points out. So, they're not quite sure how this happened. As far as we know, it doesn't seem to have any information as to the nexus or the patient zero. Now, tuberculosis is a disease caused by a bacterium, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, per the CDC. Now, tuberculosis spreads through the air from one person to another, so it is an airborne disease. Oh, fun. Oh, audio coffee. Thank you for the information. Having sued my local hospital and won, the doctor usually ends up retraining or getting struck off and not allowed to doctor. Thank you. I am not quite sure what like the procedures would have been, but I get it. We've been lied to a lot. And I don't think the people in power kind of understand just how much trust they broke. I mean, you guys are getting news from me. I am an adult, well, play okay, adultish person, just sitting in my room and talking to you guys. I do not think that the legacy media understands the wave of new independent media that is coming for them. So again, be careful. The symptoms of TB can range, but a cough that lasts 3 weeks or longer, chest pain, coughing up blood or phlegm, weakness or fatigue, weight loss, loss of appetite, chills, fever, and night sweats. Now, tuberculosis is curable and is generally treated with a 6 month course of 4 antibiotics, including rifampicin and Izundad, according to the World Health Organization. So wash your hands, stay away from people that are coughing. If you work in the medical industry, you've probably already been tested. And but just, be careful. 66 cases. I mean, I know. I know. I understand. Well, this never happened to me, but free donuts sounds like a great idea. A family of a baby born in a Krispy Kreme parking lot gets free donuts. And she's a sweet, cute little baby girl. An Alabama family was offered free donuts for a year in honor of their baby being born in a Krispy Kreme parking lot amid a rare snowstorm. Shania Bennett said that she and the father of her children, Keon Mitchell, headed to the hospital with their 5-year-old son in tow when she started feeling contractions amid heavy snows in Dothan. Now, Bennett said she realized about a mile from Flowers Hospital that she wasn't going to make it in time. So they pulled over into the parking lot of a Krispy Kreme donut shop that had closed due to the weather. The couple's baby, Dallas Michelle, was born before emergency responders arrived. I felt like Superwoman, Bennett told WTVY TV. Mitchell, meanwhile, said he was fighting off panic. I really don't know how I stay calm because I was really scared, he said. The mother and newborn were taken the rest of the way to Flowers Hospital and were released back home Friday. Mitchell said family members have encouraged the couple to give Dallas the middle name Glaze. Don't do that to that baby. Do not give her a stripper name. Although Glaze would probably be the best stripper name ever. Note to self. We'll have to talk about that, she told AL.com. Managers of the Krispy Kreme eatery said the family will receive free donuts for a year. He offered to host Dallas's first birthday at the location next year. My first thought was, we've seen it all, manager Laura French said. I'm telling you, everything happens in the Krispy Kreme parking lot on a scale from grand to small. I was like, well, that's just the icing on the donut right there. So there you go. Middle name Sprinkles. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sprinkles is an awesome name too. I feel bad for this guy, but it seems like he's taking it in stride because he did pull out the mega mind. But I do feel sad for him. Because ouch. A British man horrified by crazy hair transplant side effect. I look like Megamind. Yeah, you do. Sorry, sir, but you put it on the internet and you know I'm going to cover it. A British man has gone viral after suffering a jaw dropping reaction following a hair transplant. The cosmetic treatment, often obtained by men experiencing baldness, has seen a dramatic 240% spike in the past decade, according to recent reports. While the procedure has become commonplace with more than 2,000 operations occurring every day around the world, it is not without risks, as a London born Kahan Flex recently found out. The professional choreographer had been documenting his hair journey on TikTok, where he revealed his head had dramatically swollen after the procedure. So much so that he even compared himself to fictional character Megamind. In a recent video, Kahana? Kenna? Look, I don't know. Detailed exactly what parts of his hair he was having rejuvenated through the procedure. My hairline is all right, to be honest, so I didn't bring it forward. It was mainly my crown and donor area, he said. I would have put my hairline forward, and everyone's saying I should, but if I put my hairline forward, it would mean they would have to take more grafts. He explained that a graft is to hair. He had 4,000 grafts done, meaning 8,000 hairs were implanted into his head, none of which were being used to bring his hairline forward, as it would have meant more grafts being taken from the top of his head. It would have made my hair less dense at the top, and I didn't want that. But I mean, look, he's being fun about it. This is how I would deal with stuff. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I look like Megamind," because I do. I mean, at least he has a good sense of humor. And I think he would have looked super cute bald too, so I don't quite get it. He looks like even despite the size of his head, it isn't divotty, so I say he could just go bald. I know, Audio Coffee. There's something about, like, a good-looking bald man. After consultation at a clinic in the UK's capital, he was walked through the risks before heading into the procedure room. They shaved his Wait, why are we shaving his head to put new hairs on? And also, where do we get the hairs? Is it like a back hair donation, a armpit donation, or downstairs hair? Or do you get them from other people's backs? Oh my god, is it like, do the hairy Yeti guys in the summer, do they just shave their hair to give it to other guys who are bald? Because I think I have a business opportunity here. Are you a hairy man? Do you look like Robin Williams? Then please donate your hair for the bald. However, the procedure, which involves his scalp being injected repeatedly ahead of surgery, led to a large amount of swelling in his head. The surgery took 4 hours in total, and a headband was placed to assist with the swelling. Oh my God, what is going on when he first noticed the size of his head? God dang it, I look at my head. I look like Squidward. I look like Megamind. I look like Roger from American Dad. What is going on? The hairline will restore back. I know I'm looking crazy just because of the process. In 6 months, I'll be looking back. Your head is gonna be that effing big for 6 months? Dude, go freaking bald. Like, yeah, shave all of it off, go bald, just do it. You're a handsome man. Don't why are you doing this to yourself? Better Health Victoria states that swelling is an expected side effect of the procedure. They also said bruising, numbness, a tight feeling on the scalp, and pain are common side effects. However, the large amount of swelling caught attention on social media, with many comparing him to several fictional characters. It's normal after a transplant, but you shouldn't have to remove this band, one person commented. Another social media user asked, why is the headband so tight? And what happens if you take off the headband? Another pressed. As one social media user commented, I've never seen this level of swelling in all or in hair transplant surgeries. 3 days later, he joked about his megamind swelling and it had gone down. I don't know what any of you are talking about. My swelling is down. You just have to trust the process. He said a few days ago he was looking crazy like Megamind, but now he was looking back to normal. In 5 months, I'll be brand new, just trusting the process and keep watching. Why do you sound like you're going to AA? Do they have Hair Anonymous? Because this is sounding a little culty, like, trust the process. I understand it's not going to be fun, but trust the process. Unfortunately, he did not respond back for questions or further comments. Oddly enough, isn't it a coinkydink beyond all coinkydinks? Nancy Pelosi's husband sold a boatload of Nvidia stock right before it was eviscerated by a Chinese startup. It's a coinkydink. I mean, obviously, there is no pattern to this, and no one knows how this happened. The age of trading apps and Wall Street fervor, who among us hasn't dreamed of striking it rich on a well timed hunch? Well, apparently, that dream isn't just for 9 to 5ers. U.S. Representative Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, cashed in to the tune of $38 million thanks to some very smart investments, with some alleging that the centimillionaire couple might be making their own luck. On New Year's Eve, recent SEC filings show that Mr. Pelosi had sold off roughly $24 million in Apple stocks and about $5 million in Nvidia. Weeks later, the venture capitalist placed a bevy of call options, an agreement that grants the right but not obligation to buy stocks at a predefined price on companies that included tech startup Tempest AI, energy company Vistra Corp, and known tech giants like Google, Amazon, and Nvidia. Both transactions were disclosed in a joint filing made on January 17th, 3 days before Trump was sworn in, and the final day before the long awaited TikTok ban, which was scheduled to go into effect. Altogether, the filing represents $38 million in transactions, swelling the couple's already 9 digit net worth. This comes on the back of the much discussed Nvidia blowout, which saw over 1 trillion in the overhyped stock disintegrate into thin air yesterday. Speaker Pelosi does not own any stocks, her spokesperson told Fox of the trades, and she has no prior knowledge or subsequent involvement in any transactions. Sure. It's almost a comic excuse, of course, because she might not have personally made the trades, but her husband, with whom she lives and has 9 grandchildren with, did. Though the Pelosi's can't technically make trades based on insider data, there's nothing prohibiting the couple from buying or selling stocks, and the dubious timing is drawing scrutiny from all sides of the political spectrum. And thank you for joining us, Tanika's 2 cents. I love your videos. Thank you. I was wondering why the headband was so tight. I mean, as a mom who has had big-headed children, my children need, like, larger size hats, okay? So, you would think if he had a bigger noggin, they would have, like, headband sizes. So I'm not going to get too deep into this. You can look up at the article on futurism from Yahoo, but in my personal opinion, it seems rather fishy that these two dumped a bunch of stocks right before the stock kind of went kablooey. But that's just my 2 cents on it. It just seems a little weird. Now, Lord Chippy attendants, I need you to come forward. We're going to go ahead and put this on slow and low. All right. This monster, not mother, monster, did something that's just horrific. A 10-year-old says that mom should be, quote, locked up for life for allegedly setting a fire that killed her 12-year-old sister after meticulously removing all seven fire detectors. A mom in Michigan is behind bars for allegedly setting her house on fire with her 3 children inside, leading to the death of her 12-year-old daughter in what cops are calling a shockingly cruel and unimaginable arson attack. Rakonda Singleton, 46, meticulously removed all seven of her smoke detectors from her home before dousing the place in lighter fluid and setting it ablaze Saturday, according to Grand Rapids Police Department officials who held a press conference Monday. Quote, I want to say she should be locked up for life for killing my sister. Singleton's 10-year-old daughter who survived told NBC affiliate WOOD. Oh, sweetheart. Yes, she should. I agree with you. And I'm so sorry you got to deal with it. Goodness gracious. Her 12-year-old sibling, Shemaiah Singleton, passed away from injuries suffered in the fire. Everyone was trying to save my mom, and she just wanted to lay down on her bed while the room was lighting up with fire, the child said. And she did not want to go, but she finally came out, and she wouldn't tell me where Shemaiah was, so I had to keep leading them to my sisters. Singleton, who is charged with first-degree arson and 3 counts of second-degree CA, allegedly set her house on fire Saturday morning. More than 40 firefighters from 13 different units responded to the blaze as it tore through the Singleton's home very rapidly, according to Grand Rapids Fire Department officials. A bag containing Singleton's smoke detectors was found in her backyard. This mom that meticulously took all seven of her smoke detectors and put them in a bag and removed them from the house before she poured lighter fluid all over the house and lit it on fire in an attempt to unalive her 3 children. It does look like it was more a sense of unaliving the entire family if the mother was reluctant to get out of the bed. Still gross, still unimaginable, still horrific, but ugh. I think she covered the couch with lighter fluid, Windstrom added. That's a pretty effective way to, start a fire. Singleton's 10-year-old was hailed as a hero at Monday's presser, with the cops saying she was able to get her other surviving sibling out, along with Shemaiah after alerting first responders to where they were located inside the residence. We just thank God for her quick thinking. Cousin Patricia Robinson, who has started a GoFundMe for the family, told WOOD. Now, Shemaiah suffered burns over 30% of her body and smoke inhalation, which led to her death on Monday night. And I pray to all that is holy that she passed away peacefully from smoke inhalation, that she was asleep and she just stayed dreaming, because that's horrific. Her father described her as a fighter while speaking to WOOD before she passed away. She ain't deserved this at all, said Lynn Stewart, Shemaiah's dad. She's a good child. She's my special baby. She was in the NICU as a baby for 4 months. It's hard for me to keep the family in prayer, please. Just keep the family in prayer. That's all I can say. Speaking to WOOD after Shemaiah's death, Singleton's 10-year-old daughter asked, I want to know, why did she have to do that to her? Singleton faces life in prison if convicted. Yes, the station is wood. I don't have a whole lot more to say about this. I hope that the justice system does their job, but to that 10-year-old little girl, if you ever watch this, you are an absolute hero. and you did more mama bearing than your mama did. And it's not your fault that any of this happened. Don't carry that. Don't put that on your soul. You did your very best and you're a hero in my book and in your sister's book. And you gave Shemaiah a chance for her dad to say goodbye. And that's priceless. So, sweetie, keep your head up. You're a hero. Well, I don't know what's going on with this, but an eerie help message has been spotted in an LA lot on Google Maps and has sparked worries across the internet. Oh, Lord, someone did a bender. Apparent pleas for help and other concerning words spelled out with building material and spotted on Google Earth in a vacant lot in Los Angeles have sparked concerns across the internet. The bizarre messages visible in images at the coordinates of 3403 and 18. Look, some places with some coordinates. I'll highlight them for you, but I don't know how you're supposed to say them. I know they're seconds and minutes, but it doesn't make sense to me. So y'all know. Anyhoozle, they were found near in a lot near the San Bernardino Freeway and captured in November 2023, according to ABC7. The signs, which began circulating on social media last week, included various words and slogans such as help, trafico, which means traffic in Spanish, federal, FBI, LAPD, and terrorismo. So there you go. Um, well, someone's having fun with logs. They're not Lincoln logs, but there you go. I have no idea what this is about. Now, the worrying messages instantly had people concerned that the site was an area that could be holding human trafficking victims. California is the eighth largest state in the US with the most victims of human trafficking, almost 100,000 people per year, according to the Jocelyn Law Firm. I think that number is fairly low. I think that's a low estimate, but that's just me. However, the Los Angeles Police Department quickly revealed that there was no evidence of human trafficking. We've had several different contacts with the individual you speak of. He is refusing housing or mental health evaluations, the LAPD Central Division told X on Monday. There is no evidence of human trafficking. He's been at the location for a few years. The outlet also confirmed that the words that had been spelled out in empty lots for over a year and found on satellite messages from the same lot dating back to June 2023 to February 2024. It remains to be seen if police are investigating the location or if the calls for help are legitimate. Now, the department was responding to a video uploaded by at LA Guy 310, who claimed to be speaking with a woman near the lot about concerning messages. I was filming because everyone wants to know why there's a help sign, he told the woman. The unidentified woman told him the messages were being spelled out by a man named Jose and that he had been doing it for years. He's the one that puts up help all the time. He writes it everywhere. It's been years. Okay, so this man is crying out for help. Like let's say I believe that they did a thorough investigation and there were no people that were locked in sexual servitude. But this man is crying out for help. He's literally writing it everywhere, but we don't have the tools or maybe the laws in place that we can have people go to get help. I can't imagine living with my mind as just, with all of these things going on and you can't be functional. This is nuts. And I mean that not in a literal term, but we have so many broken systems in this country. I mean, Indiana, I think in 2023, lost 60 children. 60. And they were all in the custody of child, services. They were all known. They were all supposed to be on monitor, and they lost them. And by lost, I mean they passed away. So we have broken systems in, services from the government, and we need to fix them so no other child, no other person goes through these kind of things. The user also updated his followers to reveal that he's been working out, trying to track Jose through other homeless people. I'm in contact with the adjacent lot and they give me full access as well as interviews with their workers to see if they know anything. Josette Caruso, who has over 75,700 followers on X, posted on Sunday. Apparently, they're doing a lot of construction in that area, and people, both homeless and not, and small businesses are being displaced. She speculated that it's mostly Hispanic people living there, and many of them have lived and had businesses in the area for over 30 years, and they're being forced out in favor of this construction. It may be a homeless man mad at being forced to move away from his encampment, as some have said. It could be several locals coming together to try to scare away the construction. It may even be a street artist, like some LA residents have speculated, she wrote. But looking at the pictures and the sheer size of some of the materials used to create these signs, I'd be willing to bet it's not anyone being trafficked and legitimately looking for help. It's too obvious and would have put them in danger. I'd put my money more on some sort of protest from angry inhabitants of the area. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't have gone first to human trafficking. Again, it's a very obvious signal. It's large enough to be seen from a satellite, and your captors might notice if you're carrying around logs to spell out help. Very cogent point. I don't know what is wrong with parents, but y'all need to discipline your children. Your children is special and lovely to you. Your child is a wonderful miracle to you. But then you need to teach that miracle to not be a giant butthole in school. You can do it. Takes hard work. But I don't know what the hell is going on in Texas, you guys. A Texas educator breaks wrist dodging chair thrown by violent student in the same school that a principal lost her eye in an attack. This is crazy. A Texas educator broke her wrist diving out of the way of a chair thrown at her by a violent student in the latest attack, resulting in an injured staff member at a local middle school. A freaking middle school? That is wonderful. I have had, worries. I don't want any child going through anything scary. And God bless it. You just have to turn on the TV and watch Chris Hansen, catch some of these gross, disgusting people. I mean, there are really gross, disgusting people out there, and I had no idea. But the more you delve into it, these people are dangerous and so predatory. Collins Intermediate School paraprofessional Carol Tindwell was inside the fifth, sixth grade classroom dedicated for students with behavior challenges on January 21st when the class was interrupted. Tidwell, 57, recalled seeing a chair thrown as she called out to the room. When I looked up, I could see a chair coming, she told KDFW. So I told the teacher, hey, we have a chair flying. Now, Tidwell managed to dodge the projectile, but tripped and fell backward, landing on the floor. An on campus nurse examined the educator before her husband took her to the local hospital. X-rays confirmed that she had broke her wrist. Now, Corsicana Independent School District, located 50 miles south of Dallas, has confirmed that the incident took place in a small classroom and that video footage captured Tidwell's injury as she was attempting to avoid the chair. The school was not put on lockdown because the situation was resolved and learning quickly resumed. Tidwell has worked in the school district for less than a year and was placed at Collins Intermediate at the beginning of the school year. Now, the paraprofessional claimed that the unidentified student had been violent in the past and called for action from the school district. People need to know, she said, these kids need to be helped. I don't get paid to be messed up like this, she added. Tidwell was told she would be given workers' compensation and the district would handle the problem. The problem's been there since I've been there and they ain't done nothing yet, she told WTX. Tidwell called for action from the school and district to help special needs students and make designated classrooms safer for employees. The violent attack has left Tidwell not wanting to return to school. She believes she is done working for that school district. The January 21st incident was the latest attack inside the school that resulted in an injured staff member. Cassandra Rogers, an assistant principal at the school, was left blind on August 15th after an aggressive student inside the behavioral class launched a wire clothes hanger at her face. Rogers, now 58, responded to a teacher asking for help because two of the sixth graders got into a physical altercation. One of the students, a sixth grade boy, was still in the classroom when Rogers showed up and began throwing several chairs at the administrator. Rogers dodged the chairs, but her right eye got pierced by the hanger, ripping it out of the socket. Holy flippin' flapjacks. Okay, that gives me the willies. Anything with eyes gives me the willies. And can I say that, if she was it looks like Miss Rogers is speaking out. That is brave beyond brave. So, what a class act woman to stand up and advocate for teachers after that happened to her. She was airlifted to the hospital where she underwent surgery to get the eye back in the socket, but was left blind from the attack. On January 14th, Rogers had her right eye surgically removed. Despite the brutal injury, Rogers said she forgave the student. "I've forgiven him. I've had to," she said. "I'm angry with the student. I'm angry with the student's parents. I'm angry with our state system because no educator should go to work and end up being airlifted to the hospital," she told the outlet. True, true. I don't let my kids fuss and act out, and when the teacher calls, I don't assume that my kid's being targeted. Now for our final story, because we need a palate cleanser. This looks like something my youngest, most feral, is going to be doing in about 10 years. And I ask why? Why, dear God, why? Two daredevils walk a slack line suspended between two hot air balloons. Notice the lack of female involvement. This was not something any woman had a say in. As I say that, watch it be two chicks that are doing the tight walk. A pair of German daredevils took a walk across a slack line suspended between two hot air balloons and earned a world record for their stroll at an altitude of 8,202 feet. Uh, Friede Kuhn and Lucas Imler took to the skies over Redring and walked across a slack line at 8,202 feet over the ground, breaking the Guinness World Record for the highest slackline walk in the process. They broke the previous record of 6,236 feet. Okay, so you're telling me a bunch of other MFers tried this before? Y'all are gonna make your moms have heart attacks. Like, I'm speaking for the moms out here. No, just no. The main attempt of breaking the world record was pretty difficult for me, Imler, who took the first walk, told Guinness World Records. The pressure was really high. It was a great relief of pressure. It was a glorious moment. Cahoon then followed in his friend's high altitude footsteps. Watching Lucas struggle on the slack line was so very intimidating for me, Kuhn said. Not only did the balloons spin the entire time, but they also went up and down. Possibly why you don't walk a tightrope between two balloons, because it's flippin' ridiculous and stupid and dumb. And I hope y'all had life insurance. Not okay. At one point, you're sort of walking downhill. The next minute, it's uphill. The tension of the line was going up and down. Now, Kuhn celebrated the successful record attempt by parachuting off the slack line. I'd like to take things Mo will never do for $1,000, Alex. Because let's see, we'll watch the video and then it just all the you guys, no, just no. They're all incredibly ridiculous. This is a terrible idea. Sure, get out of the basket. That's a great just go. Just no. All of the just knows. Yeah, no. My heart is racing and I'm not even doing anything. But I know you're proud of yourself, but again, I have to ask the question, why? I feel like I'm missing something here. It's I don't get it, you guys. I again, hard pass, RSVP, all the no's to this. I want neither the chicken or the steak. Just all the no. No cha-cha shuffle, no nothing. Well, there you go. Again, probably not something a chick would do, but pretty fun, not gonna lie. Pretty sure my youngest, most feral is gonna be doing it in about, 3 years, so there you go. He'll probably call me while doing it, like, "Yo, ma, walking a tight line today," and I'll be like, "When are you doing that?" "Oh, I'm doing it right now. I'm on hands free." And I will slowly walk over to my wine cabinet and just take down an entire bottle and a silly straw, and that's how we're gonna deal with that one. I hope you guys had a lovely day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the consideration for being late. I am gonna go work on lysoling all the things and then do the interview with Cara that should be up either today or tomorrow. So look forward to that. We are going to be discussing where everything stands in the Delphi case. She is a seasoned appellate attorney, so she is a lawyerologist, and we should get some answers and maybe a little bit of clarification on some of the things that are going on in the Delphi case. So I look forward to that, and I will see you guys in the morning. It is Wednesday night, so I will be going to Lowe's with Mr. Mo to look at paneling for my new office area because in about 2 weeks, I will be in a temporary area as we work to, well, just figure out my room and get everything put together. So I will be, you know, broadcasting from a new secret location in, the Moden. I will see you guys in a little bit. Have a wonderful day. Bye, you guys.